Hey, welcome back to the Realm of History, special Spirit Week edition. Sophomores are balling. We took a lot of victories, a lot of W's today, so we're having a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me too, so I appreciate you guys. You know, I always stay with my favorite kids, the sophomores. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about though is so we really need to be here now because we got all the festivities going on and stealing Miss Richards' bike and all the good stuff going on, right? But when we come to class tomorrow, when we enter the realm, hey, we got to be here now. That's the one big thing I want to start with today. Hey, check in the chat with me. Let me know that you're here. We got the Realm Hunger Games tonight. Pretty fired up for that. Got those questions ready. Hopefully, all the ballers that are playing are in the session. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to be doing in this live review. First, we're going to have some key advice, like always, the most important things. We'll talk about some selected key terms and figures today. We're not going to be doing places today. We don't have to worry about number three, right? If you haven't heard, since the girls won two events today and the sophomore boys won the eating contest, the AP portion is canceled. So you don't have to worry about the AP part. Kind of works out for us anyway because we have the shortened schedule due to the 2 o'clocks, right? So we only have the content portion to deal with. Tonight's session might be a little shorter because of that. I may have some final advice and ask maybe some advice from you about tomorrow's spirit events. So stay tuned for that. Let's get into the key advice. Hey, really important. I would say make sure you write some things down from this session. Seems like the kids who in on their review sheet kind of add some things from these sessions are really well prepared. That's just what I'm gathering from grading your outlines and your review sheets. Don't forget, all of those things are due tomorrow as well. Read through your notes several times tonight before you go to bed, right? Tomorrow morning. You don't have seminar, so you need to be diligent about getting yourself ready and read through on those outlines. Next, I want to encourage you to utilize your review sheet to quiz yourself, of course, and making sure that one of the key things that you got to do is you got to make sure you are quizzing yourself, assessing yourself, and getting yourself ready for this quiz. I want to encourage you to pray for the right things. Okay. So you got to make sure that when you pray, you're praying for the more important things in life. Like this quiz is so small, right? We want to think about praying for your health, your safety, the health and safety of your families, right? All of those important things. That's what you really want to ask for. If you wanted to say a prayer, I would suggest saying a prayer for the Lord's guidance. Ask for the good guidance to get yourself ready to use your talents to the fullest. That's really what it comes down to when you're doing anything. But just remember to pray for the right things. We're so blessed. Saying the prayer of gratitude, just saying thank you for all the blessings that we have, that we're sitting here, during Spirit Week, enjoying ourselves, having these festivities every day, dressing up in these fun costumes, and just having fun like you should. It's such a blessing. You don't have the worries that some other people in the world have, like where they're going to get their next meal or where they're going to sleep. Do they have shelter? So we need to say a prayer for the people who are less fortunate, and we need to thank the good Lord for all of our blessings. I think that's really important. Number three, you got to be here now. Like this is where the motto comes in play. It's tomorrow because your mind is going to have so many things going on, especially if you have my class after the festivities, the 4th hour festivities, right? Volleyball game. The boys got, all kinds of field events going on. So when you come in 5th hour, 6th hour, 7th hour, 8th hour, you got to be able to be here now. Next, I really think that this is important too. Like all these blessings that you have, this position that you're in, the fact that you're able to be at a place like St. Mary's that has these special events and you're able to study for a quiz like this and you're on a live stream. Not a lot of kids get that, but you need to thank your parents. You need to express gratitude to your parents. I mean, they do a lot for you. Trust me, parents sacrifice a great deal for their children. So you need to, if you need to leave, like I say, if you need to leave right now this session, go say thank you to your parents right now. Tell them that you love them, before they go to bed. That's more important than anything that we're doing right here. You don't get that time back. Finally, look, I took the AP part off. The AP part was going to be a challenge. The content part is 40 questions, okay? I still think it could be a mid-level challenge, you know, especially because it's Spirit Week and where are our minds at? Can we focus? Can we be here now? Right. So I think you don't want to take this lightly. You really don't want to take this lightly. Like, don't think this is going to be so simple. There are some tough questions on there, even though they're all multiple choice and matching. So you got to be ready. All right, let's get into the key terms. Here we go. First one is polis. Polis is very basic. It's the Greek word for city-state. When we think about cities like Indianapolis, Minneapolis, that's that word polis, city. That's where that's coming from. That's where the link is. But in Greece, the city-state was like the standard. All of the Greek city-states were not very well populated, but the population that they did have was well educated, trained militarily, so they were very powerful. Moving on down the line, I've got phalanx. Phalanx we saw today in the video clip. Whoa, pretty powerful military formation, right? We saw the pictures on the slideshow, so we can kind of go from that. Then we have the Delian League. A lot of questions about the Delian League, right? It was in the handout notes from section 2. You got to read both sides. That's a double-sided deal. So do your due diligence there. But the Delian League was a series of alliances. And these alliances were formed by city-states to prevent invasions from outsiders. This was in response to the Persian invasions of Greece during the Persian Wars. The Greek city-states, they didn't like that they got invaded by an outside force. So they were like, hey, look, we have more in common as Greeks, as city-states, than these outsiders do. So if anybody tries to attack a Greek city-state, we all need to come together and defend each other. That's really what the Delian League was all about. Moving on down the list, talking a little bit of political structures now. The first one is aristocracy. That's ruled by a few powerful families, okay? Ruled by a few powerful families means, like, we had some examples in class, but family A, family B, family C, all the members of those families, very large, wealthy landowners, kind of working together to rule. Other city-states like Sparta had an oligarchy. Oligarchy is ruled by a few powerful individuals. That's the difference. So you have 5, 6 people coming together to rule. For example, Sparta had 2 kings, but they had a council of 5 elders. All of those people ruled together. That's an oligarchy. At times, especially when times could maybe go bad, there could be a tyrant that took power. Tyrants are powerful individuals that could seize control of government by appealing to the common people. So that's what tyrants are. We had some examples in class. We talked about, hey, how you could, if you wanted to change something, how you could draw attention of the people, figure out what their wants and needs are, and then kind of run on a platform of, hey, here's what I'm going to do to make that happen for you. That's what kind of tyrants do. They zero in on what the common people want, and then they try to go about getting it for them. All right, next is Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophy, and we took a look at this philosophy in section 5. It believes or teaches that people should live virtuous lives. Remember, virtue is doing things morally right, morally correct, in harmony with the will of the gods, or in harmony with natural laws of nature, natural laws of a legal code, something along those lines. So they do believe that there are gods. You should live in harmony with their processes. The opposite of Stoicism is Epicureanism. Now, Epicureanism is a philosophy that believes people should participate and enjoy the human pleasures. They teach that the only real objects in life are those that can be perceived by the 5 senses. They also think, yeah, the universe is made up of atoms and there are gods, but the gods don't really care about people. They don't really care about humans. They have their own things to worry about, is what Epicureans believe. Okay, now on to a few key figures. Not going to go over all the key figures tonight, just some that I felt like there were a lot of questions about today. First, I would go Darius. So Darius is Darius the First. He is the king of Persia. He invaded and attacked Athens, and he lost in the famous Battle of Marathon. Okay. Next is his son, Xerxes. Xerxes was the son of Darius, as I just mentioned. He also invaded Greece a little bit later. He fought against Athens and Sparta and other city-states that came together until he was finally defeated at the battles of Salamis at sea and Plataea the final land battle. Next is Darius III. Now, Darius III comes 100, a little bit later. He's not like a direct close relative to Xerxes or anything like that. He's down the line. He's a Persian king. This is during the time of Alexander's invasion. And he was known for having a very large army, but he always lost to Alexander. And he fled the battlefield twice. Like, he ran away. Alexander chased after him. And he ends up losing all of Persia to Alexander the Great. We should know Alexander the Great, but I want to talk about Alexander's father, Philip. Philip II, he was Macedonian king. Of course, he was, if you remember, he had these goals. He wanted to invade Greece. He wanted to also invade Persia. He never got the chance to do some of those things because he was assassinated at his own daughter's wedding by one of his former guardsmen. And a lot of people think the Persians may have had something to do with that. Okay, that is it for now on the key terms and the key figures. We're running a little bit early, but we are going to get into the Realm Hunger Games next. Now, I announced this. This is kind of an exciting thing that we do every once in a while. We've got our competitors. You know who you are. I'm not going to, say your names or anything like that, but we need to get ready in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and get myself ready down here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be going ahead and reading the questions out loud, and then I'm going to be looking at the chat. What we need to do here is we need to make sure that anybody who's not signed up, anybody who's not a participant, okay, in the Hunger Games, please stay out of the chat. Just wait until everybody has answered those things. All right. And then from there, we can kind of see who's winning. Of course, you can cheer on your teammates and classmates in between questions. But, when we're looking for an answer, kind of go silent in the chat unless you are signed up to play. That'll help me get the proper answers out there. Okay. So second hour, third hour, fifth hour, sixth hour, seventh hour, and eighth hour. You all have 2 representatives in the Realm Hunger Games tonight. Here we go. We are ready. Make sure that you're ready to type fast in the chat. Question number 1. What was the name of the spears used by Macedonian troops? I'm actively looking at the chat. Let's see what we can come up with here. Nobody's answered yet. Oh, Layla B says pikes. That's a point. Layla B with pikes. That'll be 8th hour on the board. 8th hour girls class. Bam. Sign of strength right off the bat. Layla B repping the realm right there. Okay, so point goes to 8th hour. Question number 2. Here we go. What was the name of the woman that legend says the Trojan War was fought over? Looking at the chat. We got Chloe. I see Chloe coming in. Chloe's representing 7th hour. Chloe gets the point. 7th hour, sign of strength. Well done. That's Helen. Helen, also known as Helen of Troy. She was believed to be maybe kidnapped, or maybe she fell in love with Prince Paris from Troy, left her husband Agamemnon, and legend says that they started a war over this. Okay, so we got 2 girls classes on the board so far. We got 7th hour and 8th hour holding it down, tied at 1 each. Question number 3. Let's see where this goes. What were the Messenian slaves called by their Spartan owners? What did the Spartans call their Messenian slaves? Hold on. We got a lot of answers coming in. I got to scroll up because a lot of answers just came in. We got Ian N. Ian N with the answer representing 2nd hour. Point goes to 2nd hour. Key baller Ian N. Well done, sir. Okay, so we got a three-way tie. Three-way tie between second hour, seventh hour, and eighth hour right now. We're on to question number 4 in the first Realm Hunger Games of 2024. Here we go. Number 4. What was the name of the lighthouse at Alexandria? What was the name of the lighthouse at Alexandria? Alex Fox says the Pharos, and he's correct. That's first on my chat. Layla second, Addison K third. Great job. But Alex Fox on the board for third hour. Third hour's got a point. So there's a lot of opportunity here. All these teams that have got 1 point, all they have to do is answer this final question correctly, and we'll have a winner. If we have a tie, man, we're gonna have to do a drawing tonight. I'm gonna have to make that up on the fly tonight. Here we go. Final question, ballers. What city did Alexander the Great die in? I'm looking at the chat, waiting for an answer. I see Babylon. I see Babylon by a player that's not a player, so that doesn't count. So we got to hold on. I got to filter through here. Annalise got it. She's not playing, so it goes to Chloe. Chloe got it. Chloe, that's 2 answers for Chloe. Seventh hour wins. Huge victory for the seventh hour girls. Chloe with 2 answers on the board. Sign of strength. Chloe, key baller. Wow. So seventh hour, they will get the extra credit point going on the quiz tomorrow. Well done. Well done. Even Annalise was trying to get in there, but unfortunately, Annalise is not on the list. She should have volunteered. Okay. So here we go. We're now ready. There's a lot of people upset that they didn't win. That's okay. That's what always happens during the Hunger Games. Congratulations, seventh hour. Here we go to our question and answer session. So at this time, I know the chat is going to be full of things, but let's go to the questions now. Okay, so if you have a key question that you want me to answer, I am here for you. These are some really funny comments here. I know you guys are upset, but it goes by my chat. So I know sometimes your chat might have a different order than mine, so I can only go by mine. All right, here we go. We got a question. Darius. Okay, Darius the First. He was a Persian king. He invaded Athens and he lost at the Battle of Marathon. Okay. All right, we got next question. What? Oh, no, sorry. Got that one wrong. What is Hellenistic? Okay. Hellenistic is basically a cultural blend of the following cultures: Greek, Egyptian, Persian, and also Indian. So those cultures are the ones that you have making up Hellenistic. I'll be nice to each other in the comments. All right. We're all together in this. Okay. We're all sophomores. So let's be nice. Okay. Here's a good question. What do we need to know about each of the wars? Okay. Here, I'm not going to go through each of the wars for you, but this is why this is a good question. What you want to know: who fought in these wars or battles, right? Who ultimately won, and kind of what was the outcome? Like, how did the Persian Wars change things? Well, for example, Persian Wars were ultimately won by the Greeks, but because they were invaded, they ended up creating the Delian League, right? So that's one thing you want to think about there. Okay, so Sabrina asks, what is Hellenistic Greece? Okay, so we had Hellenistic, that's the blend of cultures. Hellenistic Greece would be all the territories that the Greece controlled during the Hellenistic period, all right? So we've got Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Persia, and also small portion of India. Basically, all the areas that Alexander conquered, that would be Hellenistic Greece. Adelina says, what is the Battle of Thermopylae? All right, I'll give you the synopsis here. Battle of Thermopylae is basically, estimates say about 150,000 Persians under the control of Xerxes invading Greece. They were battled by only 300 Spartans. 300 Spartans plus about 5 to 10,000 other Greeks. And at this battle, it's a place called Thermopylae. It's a very narrow mountain pass. The Persians were trying to get their 150,000 men through it. 300 Spartans and 5,000 other Greeks held those Persians off for 3 days. On the first day, there wasn't a single Spartan that died, but thousands of Persians were killed. This is how strong the Spartans were, okay? On day 2, I think 200 of the Spartans died, and then on day 3, they were totally defeated. I mean, they just were so outnumbered, right? But what it did is it bought time for the other Greek city-states like Athens and Corinth and Thebes to kind of get their troops ready for the Persian advance. That's the Battle of Thermopylae. What exactly do we need to know about the seas? Well, you want to know that, for Greece, like we learned about on the first day, that they're really important trade routes. Obviously, the resources that you get from fishing, but it's mostly the trade routes and the transportation that allowed them to get to the different islands and to the different entities that they traded with. All right, moving on down the list. Okay, so Aristotle, Brooklyn, he was a major Greek philosopher. One of the key things to know is that he was Alexander the Great's tutor. And that's one of the reasons why Alexander the Great was so well prepared to rule, is due to being tutored by the great Aristotle. Aristarchus was more into astronomy. Aristarchus came up with a couple of key conclusions, like the sun is larger than the earth and the other planets revolve around the sun. Most people thought it was the earth, but Aristarchus says, nope, planets revolve around the sun. Well, Euclid's a person. He was a famous mathematician. He studied at Alexandria, and his work kind of forms the basis for modern geometry. All right, hold on a second. Everybody be nice in the comments. Even if you lost the Hunger Games, we're all kind of, hey, it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Oh, shoot. I can't get this to go down. Here we go. Got it. All right. What is with folks? Master Julius is not even in the realm, and he's talking trash about my hair routine. You know what, Master Julius? I'm gonna while you're on here, I'm gonna give you a little heads up on something. We're gonna have a debate, a big debate. Flat Earth versus round, right? And it's gonna be at the end of the year, so you better start preparing, because I think you're up against it pretty good. So let's get working on some theories there. Okay, let's see. We got Alyssa. Are there fill in the blanks? And if so, do we get a word bank? There's not necessarily fill in the blanks. I'm just going to double check for you so I give you the most accurate answer. There's no fill in the blanks like there have been on some of them where you have a word bank or not, but there are a lot of matching. There's only multiple choice and matching on this quiz paper. Oh, I must have missed it. Go ahead and retype it and I'll answer it for you. Unless maybe I had already answered it, but retype it and I will certainly answer it for you. I apologize. That's my mistake. Let me search back up here. I don't see any questions from you, buddy. I apologize. Please retype it and I will answer it. How did Alexander the Great die? Okay, not exactly sure, Anna. There's a lot of speculations. We think possibly a fever from a wound could have caused an infection. Others speculate that it may have been a poisoning. So there's a lot of wonder about exactly how Alexander the Great died. Solon, he was a key democratic reformer. I want to tell you that Solon, he introduced both economic and political reforms. Like one of the things that he did was he outlawed debt slavery, which is something that Draco put into play. And then he also, though, divided up the Athenian people into four social classes based on their wealth, which kind of created the first form of tax brackets, something that we have today. The battles that you need to know are listed on the review sheet. It says key battles. Countries/civilizations, regions that make up Hellenistic Greece would be Macedonia, Greece, Egypt, Persia, Turkey, and portions of India. A lot of people asking the same question about Hellenistic Greece. I went over those a few times. Okay, Madeline's asking about Xenophon. Xenophon will not be on the quiz because the AP portion is not on there. So you won't have to know about him, but Xenophon was a Greek philosopher and writer and author. In your book, there's an excerpt that he writes about a husband's advice to his wife. It's kind of really shows you how Greeks viewed women, and they didn't see them as equals. And so if you I really wanted to use the AP part to kind of highlight that and show you like, hey, this doesn't seem right, because in the Greek and Egyptian world, women had fairly equal rights, but I'm sorry, not the Greek, but in the Mesopotamian and the Egyptian world, women had fairly equal rights. When you look at these works by Xenophon, it doesn't seem to be that way in ancient Greece. But once again, you won't need to know Xenophon for tomorrow's quiz because the AP portion is not going to be on there. Key battles, also like who fought there, who was victorious. Like I kind of went through the Battle of Thermopylae, kind of use that one as an example. I'm not going to go through any of the other battles, but if you kind of were listening to what I talked about there, you can kind of understand like what you would need to know about the other battles too. I mean, I don't know what I would really do, I'm not sure, I'm not sure about that one. I have a question for you guys though in a few minutes. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and put it back in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Geography. Okay, so geography, well, like if it's a city state like Sparta or Athens, you'd want to know some key figures that were from there, some key related ideas. If it's Troy, you want to know like their impact as an independent trading city, the fact that they fought against the Mycenaeans in the Trojan War. If it's a sea, like where is it located in juxtaposition to what was done there? Like that's the opposite. So proximity, what is it close to? If it's Alexandria, Egypt, you want to know like, okay, this was the center of the Hellenistic world. What were some of the attractions there? So like when you go through your notes, Eva D and everybody else, when you see like, okay, Alexandria, all right, what are some of the things that were talked about before it? What are some of the things that are talked about below it in the notes? Like those are the things that you want to focus on. That's how you should be studying. All right, here's Jaden. What is the Battle of Salamis? Salamis is a major naval battle. That's what I'll tell you. It's between the Persians and a alliance of Greeks, and it was won by the Greeks. The Greeks had superior ships, which were called triremes. Basically, the type of battle that they would do is triremes had like this battering ram under the water, and it was kind of like their ships were kind of concave, but they had a battering ram that stuck out at the bottom. So they would literally like ram their ship into the Persian ships, and this battering ram would poke a hole in the hull of the ship, and they would sink their enemy's ship. That's basically how they attacked ships during that time period. Yeah, you really should know Athens, Sparta, any others that are mentioned, Troy, which isn't a Greek city state, but it was an independent city state. Yeah, you're going to want to know some of the major ones that are talked about, and especially the ones that are on the review sheet, like Mycenae. All right, come on. These Sir Ducky guys are getting blocked. Yeah. All right, I can't do the Sir Duckies. Okay, I'm blocking all the Sir Duckies. All right. Not necessarily, Pearson. Battle of Salamis was just a massive amount of ships, both Greek and Persian, battling it out in the Sea of Salamis. I think that was the last question on the list. Are there any other questions tonight? We've been on for 32 minutes. Okay, I have a question for you. Tomorrow is frats or sororities, I think, and I don't really know much about that stuff, ladies. So guys, I mean, I need some help. I don't know. I really don't even want to dress up, but I kind of have to because I don't want to let anybody down. But I know definitely backwards hat, right? So backwards hat for sure. I looked that up and researched that. So we got that. I'm thinking, I don't know if we need to go blazer or no blazer, but I'm thinking definitely some khaki pants. That's what I'm thinking right there. Let's see. I was thinking like shirt untucked, maybe open top with the, of course, with a purple tie. It's kind of like pastel color. That's what I'm seeing. But also, I was thinking about the shoes. I don't know about blazer. I don't know about that. But I was thinking about the shoes. So it says a lot about white shoes for frat boys. So I got some of these bad boys, or boat shoes maybe, or I got some fresh all whites. Never wore them, just straight all white. So let me know what you think. Little fit check. I don't have fit advice. That's what I really need. So let me know. And if there are any other real questions, let me go. Let me know. All right, let's see. We got no blazer. Okay. Oh, we got a real question, Adelina. Gaugamela was the battle I showed you in the video clip today. 35,000 35,000 troops from the Macedonians, and then over 100,000 Persians, but Alexander won. Macedonians win. No blazer. Okay, so no blazer. Everybody's saying no blazer. Button down. So it looks like I can go with that. Wear the hat sideways. I can do that. No blazer, no tie. Boat shoes are all whites. I got some boat shoes, some all whites. All whites. First or last shoe. So it looks like the all whites. Oh, we got a question here too. What is Aristotle? Aristotle was one of the key philosophers from Greece, and he was Alexander the Great's tutor as well. Yeah, wear the tie loose. Got you. There's no Battle of Sparta on the list. Key battles on the list are Marathon, Thermopylae, Salamis, Plataea, and Gaugamela. Oh, Sparta on geography. Sparta is a key city-state, right? We learned about it having an oligarchy, very military focused, right? They focused solely on military. They utilized the phalanx. They didn't really focus on art or education. They focused on duty, strength, honor, character, those type of things. Yeah, that's really all it is. He was the messenger that ran from Marathon to Athens to warn the Athenians that the Persians were coming and to defend the city. Battle of Marathon, I told you the story, is where Darius was attacking. The Athenians whooped him, but then Darius got his remaining troops on the ships, tried to sail to Athens to get there before the Athenian troops could. But the Athenians sent Phidippides, who ran the 26.2 miles, to warn Athens. He told him, hey, we won the battle, defend the city. Then he collapsed and died because he was running through the mountains and the hills. And then they end up defending the city. That's the Battle of Marathon. Guys, I'm not going to go over any more battles. I already kind of went through all the ones I want to go through. Oh, here's a good question. So after the Macedonians take over Greece, they're more of a ruled by a kingdom or an empire. So they kind of unified everybody. They weren't independent any longer. So once the Macedonians come together, they were together. There was no need for the city states to have an alliance. Yeah, this is a good question. So yeah, Greece was always separate city states. They believed they had similar culture though. There was the Greek culture. So they would have referred to themselves as Greeks, but they also would have referred to themselves as Spartans, Athenians, right? They practiced Greek or Hellenic culture, which went back to Helen, the queen of Mycenae, from the myths and the legends of the Trojan War. The Greeks kind of had this similar culture based on the similar geography, right? Similar migration patterns, things of that nature, similar trade routes. So they had their allegiances more to their city, but they did view themselves as part of the Greek culture. All right, guys, I've pretty much answered all of the questions. Epicureanism, I went over in the key terms. So Epicureanism is a philosophy that believes the only real objects in life are the ones that five senses can perceive. And from there, they believed that there were gods, but the gods really didn't care about human lives. All right. So, hey, we should be ready at this point. It's been 40 minutes. So I did my best to answer all of your questions. I hope that was sufficient for you. If you really still have more questions, I will answer them. But like the ones that are coming in right now, I've already answered. I already answered Aristarchus. So you could watch the live replay, but I did go over all of the ones that have been asked so far. So I wish you a great night. Have fun tomorrow, but also be here now when it comes time to it. Okay. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Thank you. God bless all of you.